Hello everyone, welcome back. While everyone's doing their whole selection day process where they just show up and fill in a circle to feel a little better, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the this release of information, right? This disclosure of information, whether it's soul trap theory, soul reincarnation, right? Gnosticism, simulation theory, and the whole anything else you can think of that can be grouped in that category. Disclosure of these ETs, things like that. And some of us may look a little deeper into that because we're more predisposed to this type of information, whereas others get the information and they go up to a certain point, right? And they say, okay, that's enough. My programs and belief systems fit this narrative. I'm not going to go any further. I'm happy with this. I feel good. But really, even those people, once they get comfortable enough, they may get bored, or they may develop a more innate curiosity that will allow to push the boundaries of their truth. And then the others, which again have no inclination towards this type of information whatsoever, so it's not really going to concern them. They're kind of just going to be shocked and surprised that anything was actually true in the whole layers of information presented, whether it's political narratives, religious narratives, spiritual narratives, disclosure, matrix, things like that. And I want to say the reason why these things are given to us currently is largely because I think they're getting ready for a reset. Okay, they're getting ready to repackage everything and make it suitable to their own narrative. Now, who is they? They is going to include the problem solution ETs. So for example, the problems are going to be the grays, the reptilians, the negative beings, and then we're going to have the positive beings come to light regarding the, let's say, like Aryan, angelic looking beings, the ones that look nice, right? The ones that are like false light, like in the whole New Age narrative, which is why, again, New Age was also potentially introduced at this time, correlating to this. Why now? Because essentially the manipulation of timelines happens all the time, right? Now it's much easier to go with the flow of people remembering, right? So I think naturally we have been remembering. At some point we always do, right? But they need to catch us at the point where it's not full, right? So we're getting inklings of it, and then you can take it and guide it, right? So just like a river, you can't stop the flow. To do that would be incredibly difficult. You need incredible amounts of energy. Similar with us, right? You can try as much as you want, but the dam will still burst eventually. And with all the time that we have here, I think they really can't plan on that. But what you can do is you can create an offshoot. You can meander the river into a different direction. You can direct the flow, right? Similar with the flow of time, I think. So if the timeline is going here towards the exit of all these souls, okay, well, sure, all these souls want to exit. Okay, great. Let's use that. Let's give them the truth that yes, this reality is indeed not for their benefit. Let's give them the truth that this reality is indeed corrupted and getting even more and more corrupt. Okay, now we're on the same page as you. We agree with you. You can develop a sort of trust and bond with us, right? We've pointed out a false problem. These are the beings that have been doing it to you: government, Hollywood, aliens, greys, reptilians, whatever, vampires, whatever you want. But let's take you guys that want to exit and let's actually just repackage you into a different matrix where it's better, right? The new golden age, the new Atlantis, the new Saturn in the sky ruling over whatever. Because now we've taken your desire and we've given you a solution. We've fulfilled it for you, so that now you can say, oh yeah, well, I've just been, I've exited, right? I've exited into 4D or 5D or 7D or however many D dimensions you want to be in. Still part of time and space, by the way, still within the wormhole construct that I believe we exist in, but now you're just at a different layer. Of course, nowhere near where these false light beings are. Sorry, it's a little windy, so my phone may be shaking. But nowhere near. We just moved you up a little bit. If you guys have ever seen the movie Snowpiercer, It's a train structured very similarly to like a matrix, right? Where people all the way in the back are the peasants, people that, basically the scum of the earth, that are basically 99% of the population. That's how they treat us. And then as you go further and further towards the conductor, towards the front of the train, the more elitist you get, right? With the conductor being able to access all resources that the train has. So similar to this, they just move you up into a layer of the building, to another floor, right? And the floor has a little bit more amenities, a little bit more water, right? More water, instead of water you get juices, you get all types of cuisines. You can, shift your body, change your body like an avatar, like in the metaverse, right? And the 5D metaverse being the same thing. But again, these beings are likely trying to do that, and one modality of capturing those souls that accept that has been potentially through, the medical inhibition that was received in 2020, but also will be likely when disclosure fully happens and they present themselves to us, essentially with them kind of warming us up and then fully meeting us potentially, right? So that we can see them instead of them just randomly showing up on ships. And then once we meet them, greet them, potentially they will then say, look, get with us. We've known you for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years now. We're good beings. You can trust us. Let's go to another planet. And little do we know, potentially these planets are resembling other dimensions, right? When you look up in the sky, in the astrals, in the astrology, potentially going to Mars or going to the moon requires traveling through dimensions, similar to how we see in Kong vs. Godzilla when you go into inner Earth. It's inner Earth, but you go through a dimension. That scared the crap out of me. That was a squirrel. But that was King Kong, actually. You go down through the inner Earth's plane, and it's another dimension, it seems, right? At least that's what they showed us. So I think it's the same construct with the planets. In the astral, when you first die, you go through the moon. And these beings, again, it's not only the negative, it's also the positive, right? And that's why I want to talk to Dark Mystic 9 about if she's willing to come on, and we'll do an interview and we'll talk about some more stuff, because she's on the same page. And there's only a few of us really that are saying this in this community, where it's really not about going through dimensions, going up higher. It's really not about connecting only to your positive emotions, because they'll make you feel better, and then only to the positive light beings, because they're part of the same construct. We are more than just positivity. We are more than just negativity, right? Imagine a unified stance of both. You can't have one without the other, so how are you going to just exist purely in positivity? At some point, it's going to run out, which is what is happening to these beings themselves. At some point, they need more beings to create that for them, to create the friction of positive and negative, so that they can transmute it into that positivity and have a refined meal, a refined energy source, right? They can use that fire to keep stabilizing their worlds, to keep maintaining their worlds, right? Keep energizing them. And that's done through that positivity, right? They want to live in beautiful palaces and places and worlds of glitter and rainbows, or whatever the heck they gotta go in, nirvanas. It's not built on negative energy. It's built in the alchemical process, potentially from negative to positive, right? You build hells on negative energy. You build bad places, right? Demons like to reside in hell, whereas the angels like to reside in the heavenly constructs of the matrix. And I want to point out that it's very similar what these beings are doing, trying to capture people and save this place, right? The common narrative is that the humans are destroying the earth, right? And people need to come back with these messages after near-death experiences or OBEs, that you need to tell all the humans to stop polluting the earth and stop destroying the earth. Well, that's not us, right? 99% of us do not own major corporations that will do anything to just make a couple bucks, but really it's not about that. It's about control. right? So we're not the ones polluting the earth, cutting down the trees, destroying places. But the earth in of itself is built in a parasitical structure in terms of how everything kind of recycles and feeds on itself. Just looking at that, we can't just change the codes of this place, right? Or maybe we can, I don't know, but I don't think that's what we're really meant to do. And these beings seem to want to make us think that, right? And to take that to the Gnostic perspective, right, with Sophia, she's likely trying to make us think the same way, right? All we've done really is shift from the Yahwehist perspective to the Gnostic Sophia perspective, where feminine is better than masculine, or the feminine's been, persecuted and suppressed, and now feminine is coming to light, and it's all about the feminine now, right? Again, you can't have one without the other. You can't say, oh, positive without negative, right? Bad Yahweh, good Sophia, because really it's again reminiscent of a toxic relationship, toxic marriage, let's say, between the narcissistic father and the empathetic victimized mother. Really, they're both narcissists. One is more open and one is more covert. And if the mother was really smart, she wouldn't say, okay, let's try and save this marriage by trying to change the Yahwehist toxic father and change the whole situation, right? Which in some maybe small percentile cases is possible. But what the mother would do after years and years and years and years of abuse is take the child and leave. So if Sophia was really for us and not maybe for her own selfish ambitions, she would take us and leave, right? Leave the matrix, the construct, unless it's her own creation to begin with, right? So something to think about in that regard. But just to point out the similarities in motivation, these beings who are said to be archons of Yahweh are likely of archons of both, right? Both having the same motivation to continue this place, continue the cycle, and repackage souls into potentially another dimensional matrix just to get them to feel better, right? So then we can just corrupt that again and then repackage it and keep it going, right? It's the same story over and over, so that people don't realize what's going on, because they don't have memory of what happened before, right? So they need to capitalize on this opportunity. So that being said, there seems to be also a connection, and I have that on my shirt right now, the Merkaba, right? And I know what it means. Again, I made this in my New Age days, but I still enjoy wearing the shirt. It's a nice gym shirt. Mer is tied to the pyramids, right? The pyramid is the masculine structure, right? Whereas the inverted pyramid, so the upward pyramid is the masculine, inverted would be the feminine, right? Representing the yoni, and the normal pyramid representing the lingam, or whatever they call it. So the the pointed energy, masculine energy, the pyramids that they have embraced, so they say it's pointed towards Orion, or Orion's all about the masculine, or whatever. They seem to be trans-dimensional portals. Now, it being called Mer, they also had liquid mercury under it. So I think essentially the water with the fire creating, upward pyramid is fire, downward pyramid is water, creating that Merkaba. So you need fire and water, right? So you create the full portal, or the full mechanism of traveling. They're able to travel. So the alchemical properties of mercury, what it does is separate gold. It essentially fuses with the gold. It absorbs the gold from the ore. Okay, so what that happens when you place the person inside the pyramid, the liquid mercury, I don't know whether it's electric, magnetic field, or whatever, starts pulling our gold, which is akin to the soul or the astral body. These are capsules. They're not the spirit. pulls that golden energy, separates them, and now the astral body is free to travel. So it potentially induces OBEs. But, and this is what Anne-Marie has discovered, and some others I believe, there seems to also be a mercury wall around the whole construct of the matrix. So imagine a black cube and a mercury wall around it. That reminds me of something similar to like the glue you put on a processor to glue it to the hard drive, the motherboard. Could be one of its purposes, but again, with what I just mentioned, if this place is surrounded by a mercury wall, it could be extracting the soul. It could be looking to extract that golden energy. It's not the spirit, but it's the soul golden energy, that fully refined luge. And then that's why we maybe have the sun, the golden light bulb in the sky, which again I do not think is the Christ or Jesus or whatever. Could be if he was a part of this matrix, because a lot of ancient cultures attribute the sun to like the snake, the dragon, Quetzalcoatl, which is essentially the demiurge. Right? So the sun, we have the sun, the golden sun, the black sun, Saturn, the moon. Put them all together, you got Israel, which is the hexagram again, right? The Star of David on the flag, Israel. Same thing, same connections. So I think, that's how they've been communicating with these gods, with these archons, with these whatever, before, right? And they may have even been able to manifest here. But, again, the plan that they have in mind is potentially to shift us. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.